Hello students, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about history chapter 2, and we are discussing this chapter for quite a few days. And in this chapter we are discussing how the company grows its power in India. Company means East India Company, the English people, the British people. So we have already discussed about different wars, a series of war, that is Anglo-Mysore War, and we have already discussed the Anglo-Maratha Wars. Now we will discuss the topic consolidation of the empire. This is on page number 28. Consolidation means making something stronger than before. Making something stronger. You all know that the British had acquired so many regions, and they want to make all the acquired regions in India to be stronger, more stronger, so that nobody else can acquire this. So after an aggressive policy of territorial expansion, the British thought about the protection of their newly acquired provinces. They were constantly threatened by the French, the Russians, and the Americans. It was now important for them to secure the northwest frontier of India. So not only the British were acquiring lands in Indian subcontinent, but they were also threatened by the French, the Russians, and the Americans. So they thought of securing their west frontiers of India, western part of India. How? They thought about something to secure these regions. So in this context, for this they have to go through a war, two wars. That is the first Afghan war. The time period is 1839 to 1842, and the second Afghan war, which was fought between 1878 to 1880. Okay. So what was the result of these wars? As a final result, a permanent British resident was to be stationed at Kabul. So a British resident was stationed, a given position in Kabul to look after the western frontiers. The British took control of the Kuren and Nishani passes. Passes means the gap between the two mountains, in order to prevent any foreign intervention from this side. So from this passes, mountain passes, the different people attacked in India. So they have taken control of these passes and trying to secure these passes. The annexation of Sindh was important for the defense of English territories from the Russian. Annexation of Sindh. Sindh is a region in India, and they have took control of Sindh, and this protected them from the invasion of the Russians. After signing some peace treaties with the armies of Sindh and their weak resistance, Sindh was finally taken over in 1843. So in Sindh also there were no people, no rulers who can resist the British people. So they have went into a treaty, and finally it was taken in 1843. Burma was also annexed to the Indian Empire in 1885. Burma was also included in Indian Empire in 1885. The Nepal, the Gorkhas of Nepal was not ready to surrender, so they have a tough resistance with the British army. But they were forced to sign a treaty where the name of the treaty was the Treaty of Sugauli. This is on page number 29. Okay, so page number 28 and 29 I'm going through. So after signing some peace treaties with the, I have done. So I'm talking about Nepal. The Gorkhas of Nepal given tough resistance to the British, but they somehow they were not able to fight anymore, so they have to sign a treaty. The name of the treaty was the Treaty of Sugauli. It was signed in 1860. In this treaty, they have to surrender the district of Garhwal and Kumaon to the British. A large portion of the Tarai area also come under the British control. Tarai area means the area which is under the mountain slopes. So that was the consolidation of the empire. That is how the British tried to protect their acquired regions in India by the foreign invaders. Now, after conquering the southern part and India, that is Marathas and Mysore, the Bengal part, now there was one region, Punjab, which was quite independent from the British control. So now the British want to have control over this region. Which region? Punjab region. And the annexation of Punjab, it happened in 1849. So Punjab was now the only large and independent state left out of the British control. It was being ruled by Ranjit Singh, who had signed a treaty of perpetual friendship with the British. So it was at that time ruled by Ranjit Singh, and he also had a treaty with the British, which was known as perpetual friendship. He also maintained an efficient army and employed Europeans in his state. So Ranjit Singh employed Europeans in his state, and he had a very good army, capable army he got. After Ranjit Singh's death in 1839, Punjab witnessed political instability. So Ranjit Singh was competent enough, so he was able to control Punjab, but after his death, political instability started in Punjab also. In 1843, Dalip Singh, he was son of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. He was minor, but that means he was not adult, and he was proclaimed the ruler. He became the ruler. The British saw the right opportunity to forward their plan for annexation of Punjab. So when they saw that he was minor and he was not capable enough, so it was the right opportunity to take control of Punjab also. So here they have two long wars, that is the first Anglo-Sikh War 1845-46 and the second Anglo-Sikh War was 1848 to 49. Punjab was finally come into the British Empire in 1849. Now what happened to Dalip Singh? Dalip Singh was sent to England for education, and he was given pension of 50,000 per annum. Punjab was now to be administered by a board of commissioners. So Punjab is now no longer ruled by the original rulers. Now they have set up a board of commissioners over there. So this was about the annexation of Punjab. Now there was something more in British, so how they wanted to acquire more regions in India. So they have different acts and different systems introduced in India so that they can have more control politically and economically over the different provinces of India. So here we will talk about the subsidiary alliance system. So what is this system? It was introduced by Lord Wellesley. So Lord Wellesley was the Governor General of India in 1798. His main target was to actually expansion of the British dominions in India and taking control of the Indian state. And he was not in favor of the peace treaties. He was against the peace treaties, and he was also the policy of non-intervention. He also don't like the policy of non-intervention. To fulfill his political ambition, he used the system of subsidiary alliance. So he introduced a system of subsidiary alliance. In this system, a state under this system had to surrender its external relations to the care of the company. So now earlier the company didn't have in the peace treaties, they agree on not interfering in the external affairs. Now in this subsidiary alliance, what now they have they want to have interference in the external affairs too. Okay, so the state under this system had to surrender its external relations. So the state which will come under the subsidiary alliance will surrender its external relations in the care of company. That means now any king will not take the decision as to whom it will help in the war or whom it will help in economically or politically. So all decisions will be taken by the company. So this is called subsidiary alliance. The state was to accept a British resident at its headquarters. Those who are accepting this will have to take a resident as its in its headquarters. So this is a long topic, so I will complete it in the next video. The subsidiary alliance, I will complete it in the next video, next class, and I will also go through the doctrine of class. So that's it in this class. Go to the video and ask me questions if you have any doubt. Okay.